Let's get going. Today I'm sharing what choosing yourself really means, why it's important, and three things I'm doing now to practice choosing myself. Do you aspire to an uncomplicated and fulfilling way of life? I'm Diane Squires, aka Deanne. That's what all my friends call me. I'm an island woman living on the island of Barbados and walking my path to a big and simple life. Walk with me and learn with me. Welcome to the Island Woman podcast. I've been working independently as a communications consultant for the past 7 years now, and it has made one thing even more apparent to me. Not everyone will choose you, whether it's for a project, as a friend, as a confidant, whatever. But that doesn't mean you're not worthy of being chosen. Having said that, this is what I believe is far more important to focus on: choosing yourself. And by that, I don't mean being selfish or only caring about yourself and having no regard for other people's needs. No. I mean, stop trying to adjust yourself to become someone you're not just because you think it will lead to being accepted by more people. Choosing yourself means following your inner compass and valuing where that leads you. I remember taking the bus to and from secondary school here in Barbados when I was in my teens. It seemed like everyone was going to work and school at the same time, trying to get on the same bus to the same place. Imagine 6:30 in the morning. You were up and out of bed an hour earlier to the peace and quiet of the morning. And now you're jammed in a moving vehicle, skin to skin with dozens of other people, many you barely know, and you're sweating when it's still cool outside because you're so packed in, there's barely room for air. Have you had that experience? You pray for other people to get off before you because you just want relief, and you thank God when it's your turn to get out of that mess. You could literally not survive in a situation like that for a prolonged period. It wouldn't be practical. And in the same way, it's simply not practical or sustainable for everyone to do all the same things, all go in the same direction, all have the same interests, all do everything in the same way while we share space here on this earth. There's a practical reason for our inner compass. It allows us our personal space to breathe, to move, and to excel in our unique ways. And so making a decision to choose ourselves, to follow that inner compass, is a practice that I believe is worth pursuing. And if you're following me, if you've been following the podcast, you probably already know how strongly I feel about the big impact that small positive daily practices can make on our lives. But before I share what I'm doing daily to choose myself, I have to tell you what set the tone for those practices. It was creating a vision for myself. My vision is a written statement of the impact that I want to have in my life and in the lives of others within a specified period. It's a 5-year vision, and it has been powerful in decision making because it's my benchmark for whether or not something is worthwhile pursuing. If I can see how it can immediately or over time help that vision become a reality, even if the thing is scary or uncomfortable, I'm saying yes to it. In fact, taking the time to create that vision was a definitive way of choosing myself. And I'll probably tackle that in another episode, but let me get on with the three things I'm doing now to practice choosing myself. Number one, I start my mornings with a few minutes or an hour just for myself. Before responding to the world's demands, it is my time to pray, to meditate, to give thanks, and to determine what's important to achieve for that day. And the earlier I can wake up, the better for me, because that means no interruptions. And it probably goes without saying that I just don't check my phone during that time. But I do recite or reflect on that vision that I talked about. So that time in the morning is my sacred time. Number two, I practice being honest with myself and with others because it just optimizes my time and energy. And it usually manifests in a few ways, like saying no when my gut is telling me that something just isn't right, even if it looks good on paper, or saying that I'm not interested in an event or a pastime even when that's the unpopular response with people who might expect me to say different. Or it could manifest as saying yes to an opportunity, even when it scares me, because I know it lines up with that vision. And even when it comes to this podcast, when I write a script, I'll always ask myself, is this honest? Is this really what I think, believe, or have learned? And if it's not, it never makes the cut because I can't defend what isn't true for me. And I'm definitely not going to spend my energy trying. And speaking of the podcast, this podcast is the third thing I'm doing to practice choosing myself. I love doing this. It's not always easy to get it done. It's not always done in the way I want it done, but it is satisfying. It is satisfying to share my ideas and reflections and to use my voice and to build something that is definitely aligned with my vision. And I'll share a story with you about me podcasting and content creation that's relevant to my topic today. You see, about 6 years ago, I had another active podcast and blog going. They weren't just creative outlets, they were lead generators. Through those platforms, I was attracting high quality, high value opportunities organically. I could see the potential to build something sustainable around that content. But then client work started pulling me away. Deadlines, meetings, urgent tasks, all of it became my focus. I stopped producing new episodes and blog posts. I didn't put measures in place to maintain my own channels while managing client demands. And looking back, I believe that if I'd kept those platforms going, even in a smaller, more manageable way, I would have continued growing my business much faster and more steadily. Instead, I lost momentum and I had to rebuild later. In fact, I'm still rebuilding. And this is a clear example of what happens when you don't choose yourself or you don't put boundaries around your time and energy. So I've learned to practice choosing myself every day now, starting with small, deliberate acts. Before the emails, before the edits, before the obligations, I take time for myself, with myself. I stay honest with myself and others to maintain boundaries around my time and energy. And I continue producing and hosting this podcast because I like it and it aligns with my vision. None of those acts are elaborate, but they are deliberate. And practicing them reminds me that my value isn't based on how much I produce for others or how quickly my work is recognized. It's based on the quiet, powerful fact that I'm a whole person, one with a vision, one with a voice, one with a choice. And I choose myself. And I've learned that the more that I consistently choose myself, the less I rely on others to validate the path I'm on. So it's not selfish, it's sustainable. So let me ask you this. What's one way you could choose yourself today? Let me know in the comments. All right, that's it for now. If you've made it to the end of the episode with me, thank you so much for taking the time. If you liked it, share it with a friend or leave a comment or both. If you've watched this on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Remember, click the bell icon to get notified every time a new episode goes live. This has been episode 5, season 2 of the Island Woman podcast. I'm your Island Woman, Diane Squires, aka Deanne. Until next time, peace.